Shalom, brothers and sisters, on this most glorious, on this most glorious Friday. As we begin to approach the rest day, I want to just come on here because I'm all packed. I'm ready to go. I'm excited. I talked to the Father this morning, and I have had prayer and asked His blessing upon me and upon that part of me that will remain. Ain't that awesome how we created in the image and in the likeness of the Most High? That one part of you can be across the globe and another part of you can be somewhere else. And the will of the Father can be getting done in two places. Ain't that like the Most High? Ain't that like the Most High? When the Most High say, be fruitful, multiply, and fill the earth with images and likenesses of me, the Father can be spread out. And that's amazing. Because when you have male and female as Adam, and then you have 4, 5, 6 children, and you teach them what's inside of you. You make them aware of what's naturally inside of them, because that's what's in you. Then you find that the husband can be one place, the wife can be another place, and the children can be spread out all over the place. But all of them are doing the same exact will of the Most High. Ain't that bad? That is where multiplication takes place. That's where multiplication takes place. I think that was bad. I just had that thought, and I just said to myself, I can be somewhere blessing one of my brothers and sisters, allowing the Lord to bless one of my brothers and sisters through me, and then the Lord to be blessing another brother and sister through me, through my wife. And then He can be blessing multiple brothers and sisters through me, through my children. Y'all see how important it is to build your kingdom? What about when you by yourself? How much can you multiply then? And I don't care what kind of excuses stand in the way, brothers and sisters. It don't matter what kind of excuses stand in the way. You can climb over them hurdle excuses by having faith and understanding what the Father's will is for your life. And when you get there, so what I want to do is I want to encourage some of the brothers and sisters on this morning. Our people are fighting with many things, and our people are wrestling with many spirits and many strongholds. And mostly all the strongholds are born out of the flesh in some type of way. I have some brothers that say, pray for me. My marriage is falling apart. Pray for me. My wife done left, and she done took the children. And she's doing all sorts of things in my absence. Pray for me because I'm afraid that it's going to corrupt my children. Pray for me, brother. Because in the process of that divorce, the woman that I used to live my life with turned into somebody else. And now it's like she don't even care no more. She just invite men of no character, and these people are around my children. And I don't want my children to be affected. We live in a climate to where men and women are alike tampering with children because they have these spirits on them. So we want to lift those brothers up this morning, that the Father would give them peace and free them from the worry where their children are concerned. We want to lift them brothers up that they might know that it don't make no difference. The Most High's eyes are in every place, looking at the good and the evil. And we want to encourage those brothers with a word this morning. Proverbs chapter 3, verse 5. Lean not to your own understanding, but in all your ways acknowledge the Father, and he shall direct your path. And to my brothers that are going through these situations of divorce and experiencing that pain, understand that there is no pain that comes detached from a purpose. There's a purpose for the pain, and in most cases the pain grows us up in different areas, tries our faith, causes us to be more dependent on the Heavenly Father. And when we understand that there's a purpose for the things that we're going through, then we can understand why we have those scriptures. Lean not to your own understanding. Don't try to understand it because you can't understand it. And you don't have to understand it. All you have to do is trust that the Most High knows what's best for you. And at the appointed time, you will come out of this thing shining. Because gold is tried in the fire, and acceptable men and women are tried in the furnace of adversity. So be encouraged on this morning. Seek the Lord's face and take your cares to him. Cast your cares upon him, for he cares for you. And for those brothers that are looking, because you can't control no woman's house, and you can't control who she allows to come into your life after you are gone. You can't control that. And you'll make yourself miserable trying to, or you'll get yourself in some serious trouble. He that can't rule his own spirit is as a city without walls. You'll bring unnecessary trouble on yourself. So my advice to you brothers is be encouraged. Nothing takes the Father by surprise. He ain't surprised about none of this. But when you decided that you was going to start seeking his face and that you was going to surrender your life for his service, he start cutting things away from you. Beginning with the thing that's your main distraction, whatever it is that you care for more than him, whatever it is that will stop you in the process of trying to serve him, that's the first thing that he start cutting away. And many of you brothers have to understand that you probably got hooked up, you probably got married, you probably had children, but you had children by a woman that you chose that was outside of the will of the Most High. And when you chose him, he started cutting away things, because he said, if any man be in Christ, he is a new creature. The old things will pass away. And behold, I will make all things new. He got the power to give you another wife if that one won't stay. Because if she's not going to stay, there's nothing you can do. You can cry, you can weep, you can fight, you can create ruckus, you can get super glue, and you can't make them stay. So when people can walk away from you, let them walk away. And leave them gone. Don't go back and get them. Don't try to bring them back into your life. Don't do none of that. Learn how to love the greatest person in the world. Lavish that love on the Most High. He the one that promised that he would never leave you or forsake you. to my brothers that are dealing with these situations, understand this. And then we have some brothers that through some of these situations, their children have been affected by some wicked person, some wicked spirit. We want to encourage you this morning that the Father has vengeance. He said, I have vengeance stored up for them that have done wrong, the ones that I am jealous of. And you need to understand, if you're trying to serve the Father, that He is jealous of you. He is jealous behind you. He's jealous over you. And He said, I have reserved wrath for anybody that lays a finger on this one that I'm jealous of. And He said, I will in no ways acquit the wicked for their wickedness. He said, and whosoever caused one of these little ones to stumble, it was better that a millstone was hung around his neck and that he was choked in the sea. See, our children are the little ones, the innocent ones. But whosoever e'er touch one hand on our children in their innocence and tampers with their purity, the Father said, it is better that you hung an anvil around his neck and threw him in the sea. And He will in no ways acquit the wicked, brothers. So let us be encouraged. To my sisters, shalom, Brother Henry. Shalom, Brother Henry. I'll be seeing you probably around, well, I'll be calling you probably around 4. That's when I'm supposed to make it your way. I'm about to go out of town, Brother Miller. Yeah. And plus, I wish I did have a lot of business like that, but I just don't. You know what I mean? I'm ready to go. I got my equipment and everything ready to go. I just don't have a lot of business, I imagine that once I do get rolling, you know what I mean? It'll be all right, but yeah, I guess the Father know what need to be done, so I'm about to go out of town for the weekend, and then when I get back tomorrow, it's gonna be on and popping. And if you have an overload of work this season, or it's anything that you might need some help with, you let me know, and I'd be more than glad to join in there with you, brother. Also, Chloe Miller, I went to bed thinking about you last night, and I was going to send you my YouTube page. I had some things on there I want you to take a look at as a Christian brother. But when I looked at my clock, it was after 10:30, so I didn't want to ping your phone at that hour. But yeah, I'm going to. Nah, man, I ain't big. This is my 4th year that I'm going into, and last season was pretty good. And but I don't know, because maybe it's because that I'm local, you know what I mean? I'm local and deal with, most of the cases I deal with our people, and you know how our people can be. They up, they down, they up, they down, you know what I mean? And now when I get a chance to get some of those euros, I do all right, I still got the ones that you sent me. I'm still doing the Temple Slug, so well, I had done them up until last year. I'm not sure what they're going to do this year, but yeah. So what I'm going to do, Chloe Miller, I'm going to send you that YouTube page, and I got some things I want you to take a look at, you know what I mean? Because you'll know when I send them to you. You'll be able to identify with exactly what I'm saying. Okay, so back to our sisters. To our sisters, we have some sisters out here. I spoke to a sister on yesterday. And one of the things that our brothers need to understand is that, listen, the Bible tells us, be a father to a woman's children instead of a husband to her. That means that when a woman has children, The father wants you to be more concerned about assisting her as it relates to raising those children. Be more concerned about that than being concerned about trying to be a husband to her. So it's saying, brothers, you got to understand that sex has to stop being your priority where our sisters are concerned. Where our sisters are concerned, sex has to stop being the priority. The priority where our sisters are concerned have to be, that's what it is. Our priorities where our sisters are concerned have to be something else other than sex. Because too many of our sisters are being dragged through the mud because of a dysfunctional man. And we're not just blanking him saying he's dysfunctional. We know why he's dysfunctional. But the sisters and the brothers alike need to understand why you getting dragged through the mud and why he's dysfunctional. He's dysfunctional because you were missing. And you getting dragged through the mud because as long as you were missing from his life, he will be dysfunctional. See, it's a twofold thing. You know what I mean? When we separated, that's how it is. But some of our sisters are bleeding to death because of dysfunctional men. And so one of the things that I instruct the younger brothers that are connected to me is they say, well, how can I overcome the lust? How can I get to the point, man, I just disgust myself? And my son Priest Mikael cracks me up. He said, I just disgust myself, Pop. How can I get to the point to where I don't take advantage of a woman because of my sexuality? I say, well, you put women in different classes. You either treat her like she's a sister, you treat her like she's a mother, or you treat her like she's an auntie. And so if you see a fine woman, your hormones want to jump, and you treat her like a sister. You see, treating her like a sister put your hormones in check. Because you wouldn't go lay down with your own sister. Treating her like an auntie puts her in her proper place because you wouldn't take advantage of your auntie. And you will have the utmost respect and care for your mother. So you put a woman in those categories right there. And y'all think it's something that's foreign. But do you have any idea how many phone calls I receive, not just from men, but from women too? And when a woman calls a man to discuss some things, some personal things, and sexuality and stuff like that can come into play, you have to be a man of character. Let Satan tempt you. You see? You have to have a method to where you can deal with your sisters, brother. So you put them in the categories that you're familiar with. Treat them like sisters, and you won't take advantage of them. You see, and when you can do that, you can see crystal clear. You see, when you start out treating a woman as a sister, then you'll build friendship and you build relationship before anything. And it's genuine and it's authentic. And it helps you draw lines of distinction between who would be a sister and who will have the potential to become a wife. But you got to learn how to keep your hormones out there. And we got to do that because we have traumatized our sisters through our dysfunction. But our sisters need to understand is that you have a level of responsibility in there. We're dysfunctional because we don't have you connected to us in the way that you should be. And because you have to have a mindset as well that demands respect. You have to say, I'm a woman of character. I demand respect. I am too great. And the Father put me here to help this man be all he's supposed to be. But I can't help this man be who he's supposed to be if every time somebody smile at me, I'm pulling my panties off. What kind of respect you think you're going to get like that? You see, you ain't getting no respect like that. But when you understand these things, you challenge a man. And when a man know that he ain't getting no easy booty, chances are he going to go on about his business. And this leaves room for you to be able to identify who the true man is that's going to have the true character and the true spirit and is going to love and care for you. Because that man will come along, and when he see that you are not an easy woman, he will have respect for you. And he will begin to do what the scripture said. He will begin to care for your children and not be quick to become your husband because he's controlled by his hormones. So we want you sisters to be encouraged. You know, let a man find you on your way somewhere. You know, and some of you sisters are going to have to change your ways too, because you can't expect I want a good man, I want a godly man, but you just as raggedy as a can of sauerkraut. You can't expect that. Don't no goodly, godly man want no woman that spend her whole day on Facebook posting naked pictures of women and all kind of, cursing comments. Don't no man of character want that. A man of character want a woman of character. And so if you want a man that's going to do right by you and going to, treat you right and be a godly man, you need to be that kind of woman. You see? So we want to encourage some of our sisters that if you are in that situation and you are bleeding and crushed because of traumatic experiences you have suffered at the hand of a dysfunctional man, my advice to you is to close your legs. Because when you close your legs, not only do you leave room to be able to identify the right man with the true spirit, but you also reclaim your purity back. And you also reclaim your mentality back. And you need to learn how to love the greatest one on the planet as well. You need to learn how to lavish that love on the Father. Cast your cares on him, for he cares for you. His promise is that he would never leave or forsake you. But the reality is that we don't want to connect ourselves to the Most High. And so he said, well, you don't want to connect yourself to me. Why should I give you the most sacred creation that I created? And if you look at me like that, well, then guess what? I'm going to give you something that's going to cause you, to feel like I feel. He said, if you want to appreciate me and my goodness towards you, you won't get on your knees and thank me and tell me how valuable I am, how wonderful I am, how lovely I am, how much you love me. Why would I give you a man that's going to do that to you? Brothers, the same way. Sometimes the father will close a marriage up or shut a woman down because he wants your praise. He wants your attention. He wants all of those things just like you want them from a woman. So he said, if that woman or man start learning how to praise me and thank me and glorify me for all that they done, look, I'm giving them air to breathe. I'm giving them a job. I'm giving them provision. I'm giving them ways that they can move around. I'm giving them protection. I'm giving them all of that. And they ain't even got the sense enough to look at me and be thankful. But they want the best thing that I got to offer. He said, if you won't do it to me, why should I allow this woman to do it to you? If you won't praise me, I'll shut up the praise in this woman. If you won't tell me how bad, how lovely I am, I'll shut up the praise in this woman for you to where she don't pay you no attention. And sometimes the Father does those things so that we can understand how he feels about us. That's why he put Hosea in that situation. He made Hosea go out and marry a promiscuous woman, a prostitute, a fornicating woman. He said, go marry that prostitute out there. I want you to go marry a woman that you know ain't going to be faithful to you. Every time you turn around, she gonna be doing some other man. Every time. Because he wanted Hosea as the prophet to understand how he felt about the nation of Israel, who was constantly going a horn after other gods. And it's the same way with us. We go horn after other gods when we don't put the Father in his proper place. And so he allows us to be hooked up with somebody that will cause us that type of grief and that type of sorrow and pain in our life so that we can come to understand his love for us and how we make him feel. So to my sisters that are going through those things, understand that nobody loves you like the Father, and that he has your best interest at stake. But you looking in the wrong place. He said, I'm the one that has the heart of the man. Don't seek the man, seek me. And I'll choose the right man to go looking for you. I'll cause the right man to see you, to spot you. Out of 1 million people, if you seeking me, I will cause the right man to be able to identify you out of 1 million women, and he will choose you. You see? So you gotta be encouraged. Remember one of the things old Bishop T.D. Jakes said? He said, if you don't like the living, change the building. If you don't like the way that the life is going, brother and sister, change the way you living. If you don't like the building, change the living. Because if you make the changes where the living is concerned, you can restructure the building. But it's insanity to expect things will be different when you're not willing to change anything. So we want our sisters to be encouraged right there. Then we have some brothers. Because we vacillating back and forth between brothers and sisters, but in actuality, we're just really tearing down things where our oneness is concerned so that we can come to understand the value of each other. When we start treating each other in this manner, you're not doing it for no woman, you're doing it to yourself. You're not doing it for no man. You're doing it to yourself so that your life can be. So we have some brothers. Then we have a brother that said, well, I wish you can do a video just to encourage some of the brothers. Because it's like our sisters classify all of us in the same melting pot. He said, but some of us are out here genuinely trying. And I don't believe that our sisters really understand the totality of what we go through on a daily basis. He said, I believe if our sisters could understand what us brothers went through on a daily basis while we were trying our best to get in a position where we can care for them. Can you try to help them understand that all men don't fit into the same category? And so here it is. Sisters, you cannot classify or put all men in the same category. You can put us all in the same category from this aspect that we are all have a deficiency and we are all missing something. But once you understand that the thing that we are missing is you, then you understand that some men, even in the midst of them having a deficiency, they are still trying to do the best that they can. It's like when a man springs his ankle, he don't stop walking. He now walks with a limp. There is a level of suffering that comes with him just trying to make it from point A to point B, but he don't give up because he know that he had to be responsible. And so some of our brothers, they may have low-paying jobs because of the oppressive situation that we in. Some of our brothers, they have a target on their back. We in fear that the police is out here killing us. We have to deal with on the job that we are black men, that we are men of the Most High, and that we have to deal with and suffer at the hands of racist people that we try to do our work with on a daily basis. We have to suffer with the everyday mindset of understanding what we can't do that we desire to do, where our children are concerned. things that I would like to do that I'm unable to take my wife on a vacation. And I can barely keep the bills paid, but I'm trying with everything that I can. And I'm facing so many different adverse situations. And then to hear sisters just look at that and say, man ain't no good. He broke. He ain't got nothing. He said, man, that tears us down. He said, I understand there's some men out here that deserve to wear that title. But our sisters need to understand is that there are men out here that's fighting with everything that they have, trying to be godly men that they supposed to be. You said, hey, they need to understand that we are out here, we are men out here that have chose to even refrain. We're struggling trying to refrain from our sexuality because we know that it displeased the Lord and we want to find the right woman. You see, there are men that are out here that have character. And so we want to lift those brothers up. We want to lift those brothers up and we want to let them know that the Bible says, be not weary in well-doing, for in due season thou shalt reap if you don't quit. If you faint not. So brothers, no matter how difficult it is, press right on through that. Press right on through that. Keep right on going. What's up, Brother Ray Jackson? What's up, Tar? Yeah, so we want to encourage them brothers right there that's doing all that they can. And it seems like you ain't really moving and you are underappreciated. Man, the Father got a woman out there for you. He got one out there for you. And so you can't be discouraged because most of the time those mindsets that's looking at brothers like that, those are not the women of character. Those are the women that have bought the lie of materialism and want to have a good life in a world that's failing. You see? And to my sisters, understand that if you was going to shoot for something, shoot for wisdom. Because a car ain't going to satisfy you. Just because a man got a nice brand new car, you can ride in, you can look, but that's no satisfaction. A nice house and all, that's no satisfaction. Because, okay, say a man do have all of those things and then you hook up with him. You don't get treated like nothing because you can't afford what he got. So you got to become a doormat. And 9 out of 10 times, this is the individual that's going to mistreat you. But the brother that's struggling, he needs you. He needs you. And y'all can build together. And the Father will multiply that. He will multiply that. So sisters, I would tell you that if you was going to shoot for something, shoot for wisdom. Yeah. That's one of them things that Brother Jake said back in the day. He said, wisdom, many of you shooting for riches, but riches come and go. Riches vacillate up and down. He said, but if you shoot for wisdom, you'll get the full jackpot. He said, wisdom is long. Wisdom is old. Wisdom will be with you when the chips is up, when the chips is down. Wisdom. Wisdom. You see? So these are the things that we are dealing with. We want our brothers and sisters to be encouraged on these notes. And for our married couples, we want you to be encouraged too, because out of all of the things that you could accomplish, out of all the things, and you think of all the things you could accomplish, you can be a movie star. Somebody desires to be a well-known, famous rapper. Somebody desiring to be a doctor or a lawyer. Somebody just want to be the best trash collector to think about. I don't care what it is that you are. You can't top out being a husband or being a wife. There is no higher honor or position in this world than being a husband and a wife. Because all things flow from that. So if you accomplish those missions and you don't have a husband, they worth nothing. Because you don't have a husband and you have all of those things, chances are you ain't going to have a husband. Because you'll be using all these things as a means to try and control a man. You see? And if a man have all of them things and don't have no wife, chances are he ain't going to have no wife. Because he'll be using them for the same thing. The only reason why men go out and acquire all that stuff is so that they can impress a woman. But when you broke, you don't have to try to impress a woman. You're honest with a woman. You make a woman understand, I want you because you're valuable to me. And I can't breathe without you. I can't live without you. And if I'm going to get up, I can't get up without you. You see? When you broke. So I just wanted to come on here and just lift up some of our brothers and sisters. So, let us be mindful of each other and let us respect each other. Let us treat each other with love and kindness. Let us display the same love toward one another that the Most High have displayed toward us. Let us stop classifying our sisters as bitches and hoes. And let us stop classifying our brothers as broke-ass niggas. You know what I mean? We are all we got. If we don't treat each other with the love and kindness that we're supposed to, we finished. We wrap. It's a wrap. It's over. Yep. That's right, Brother Amoniel Ben Eliezer. He said Christians support their leadership and Muslims support their leadership. But what will we do, saints? Where our free will offerings to our shepherds from Yah has sent early, to whom Yah has sent early. You see? Then we got to support each other, period. We shall, you know what? We can't be weary in well-doing. And in Colossians 3rd chapter, 23rd verse says, whatsoever you do, do it wholeheartedly, as though you were doing it unto the Lord and not unto men and women. Because it's of the Lord that we're going to receive our reward. All right? Our works are going to be tried by fire when it's time for us to get out of here. And everything that was not done in the proper spirit shall be burnt up. It shall be burnt up. So your house ain't going to matter. Your car ain't going to matter. Your status in this world ain't going to matter. You know what? Your accomplishments ain't going to matter. The only thing that's going to matter is, did I give heed to the word of the Most High? And did I listen to that spirit that was giving me guidance and direction? And if that's not the case, see, we got to do something different. And some of you brothers and sisters, you need to go on there, because everything starts with you. That woman came out of you. You are responsible for her. If you will walk right in the eyes of the Father, that woman can become everything you desire her to be, because she is a part of you. You just have to get it back in its proper place, but it starts with you. You brothers that's on here watching, the YouTube channel is Jeremiah Ben Yehuda. Can somebody please put my YouTube channel up there? You see, we got to get that right. We have to get that right. It starts with you. Everything starts with you. So what I need some of our brothers to do is that we supposed to become repairers of the breach. Today, I need to see my brothers putting some uplifting comments out there to our sisters. And we need to, even if it ain't nothing but brothers repenting for some of the things that they have spoken where their sisters is concerned. Because I assure you, if it was the sister that you grew up in the house with, you would do different. You would have a different perspective. You would deal with things different. And our sisters the same way. It would be nice to see our sisters making Facebook comments that's encouraging our brothers. Even if you have to repent. I'm sorry I was so hard on you. But I do realize that you know what? Hebrew men are the greatest men on the planet. There is nobody that could ever go through the things that we have went through. Just look at the world as the Father reversing our captivity, and now the curses that were on us are slowly, one by one, being lifted, but they don't go away. He's taking them off us and putting them on our enemies. You see, we endured through slavery of working in the field with little pay, barely surviving. But we endured that. Now look at the curse now that's being lifted. Our brothers have went from living in the field to living in the plantation house, the master's house. And now the master is in the field. He's in the field because all of his companies and all of his jobs and all of his things done shut down and turned against him. And so now the slave is controlling the slave master. Look in the world that we're living in. Look at how many white people voted for Donald Trump. You know why they voted for Donald Trump? Because they are looking with their eyes and they saying, how did this happen? How did the slave that was in the field working for me end up in the plantation house? And how did I end up in the field with no job and on welfare and on food stamps? How did he end up in the mansion with 20 rooms? We endured through that, and while we endured, we rose. You see, your Hebrew men are amongst the greatest species on the planet. When they was whipping us and cracking that whip, crack it, crack it, crack it. We endured pain that tore our bodies open and still went out and worked in the heat of the day for you. We endured the shame of being molested before our children and before our wives. We endured the shame of being hung in trees before our children. We endured the shame and had to swallow our pride in order to stay living so that we could be responsible for our wife and our children. And we had to look our wives and our children in their eyes up under these adverse conditions. But look as the Father removed those curses and put them on your enemy. You see, he's getting cracked by the whip now. But he can't endure. And so you know what? The Bible says that when his kingdom crashes, it will never rise again because he can't endure. He can't persevere through what we persevered through. And our sisters need to understand this. These are the things that we deal with. We're dealing with oppression right now because they have attached a felony to all of our men as they sought to do the right thing. Some men deserve it and some men totally unjustifiable. And so we got our men that's working in churches chicken, dropping chicken and hot grease all day, working at Wendy's, working at McDonald's. You know, that takes a level of endurance when you got to put on a fast food restaurant uniform You got to wear the uniform that the children in high school is their first place, their first stepping stones of employment. But you got to wear this uniform, and it's a permanent sense of employment for you. And you know that you ain't going to bring home too much. And you know that you desire to have a good woman that's worthy of what you persevering through. But she don't see what you persevering through. She just look at it like you work for McDonald's. He work for Church's Chicken. He ain't got nothing going. She don't see how much humility and how much strength it takes to put a kid's uniform on and go to work so that he can try and take care of a family. And these men right here are suffering because they feel like they can't get no woman because she is looking at all of the physical things of this world. But them men are going to rise because they are persevering. They're doing whatever they have to do. I'm telling you, I wouldn't care if I had to take a spoon and go out and dig a ditch to make sure that my family eat. Then that's what it's going to have to be. But at the end of the day, if there is not a woman that has the sense enough to say, look at my baby out there. It's 100 degrees outside and all he got is a spoon. And she's digging. For me. He go out there and do what he got to do so that my children can be provided for. What kind of woman wouldn't respect a man like that? You tell me. Our sisters don't understand what we facing on a daily basis. And we're not talking about raggedy, rot good, no good ass men that are giving the men of character a bad name. But when one of these jokers can go out there with a sack of crack and start spilling it all through the neighborhood as a design, as Satan's design to stagnate the man of character, oh, you can gravitate toward him. You can gravitate toward him because he got the car. He got the car sitting on 30s and he got the big bankroll of money. He got all of that. But look at what he's doing. He poisoning his own people. Got many of us out here with habits that if we didn't have the habit, we would have more money. But because of a raggedy ass nigga that will not do what's right, he rather poison my destiny and my dreams. And that's the man you want to be with. And then when he starts slapping you across the face or molesting your children, now I want some sympathy. We're not talking about that man, sisters. We're talking about the men that you could be proud of. The men that you could be proud to call your own. God pulled you out of him. God pulled you out of him. You have to be able to recognize and you have to understand your worth and your value so that you'll know what man to look for. And if you'll get the right man, you'll go get that man that got that McDonald's uniform on because you know he'll go through hell and high water. He'll run through troops and leap over walls behind you. He'll stand up against any enemy in any adverse condition to protect you because he is trained to do that. And he don't have no pride. He ain't worried about what nobody say about you. Give me this woman. Give me this woman. Give me this woman. I don't care what nobody say. I'll protect her. I'll do whatever it takes. I'll do whatever it takes. If I got to walk 10 miles to make sure that she got what she need, I'll take it. I'll do it. This is real men talk right here. This is real men talk right here for real sisters. You want something great, baby? Come on home. Come on home to the real men. But you've been looking in the wrong places. You need to stop looking at the one that's riding around on 30s because he don't give a damn about you. He don't give a damn about your kids. He don't care about his brother. If he did, he wouldn't be doing what he's doing. But when you see that brother, that got out of jail with a made-up mind. I ain't selling dope no more to my people. I don't care. This is the only job I can get. I got to ride on the back of a stinky-ass garbage truck. But if this is what I got to do, may the Father bless me with a woman that appreciate what I'm doing, that she can wash me up and get the garbage smell off of me. It's all about what you want. It's all about what you want. And this ain't no message aimed at my sisters. This is a message trying to bring our sisters back home where they supposed to be. You can't cry on no new outfit shoulder. You see? And the problem with it, where our men go, is that the children can crawl up in mama's lap when they're having a problem that's too big for them. The woman can crawl up in the husband's lap, lay her head on his shoulder, and feel safe and secure. But where can the man go? Where can a man go? We need women to understand what we are dealing with. We don't need women that got a mindset like, well, quit feeling sorry for yourself. We don't need that type of thing. We need to be pumped with encouragement the same way anybody else do. So this is what it is, brothers and sisters. This is what it is. And I want to encourage my brothers and sisters. I want to encourage my brothers that's in these conditions. You see, we are rising. Sisters, you got to understand, if you marry a white boy, you done went way back. You done stepped so far down that it's ridiculous. And when he get in trouble, he gonna forsake you. You see? They put heroin in the heart of our community. Let me show you how bad. Let me show you how bad the man is that you came out of. He's worthy of your praise. Even though it looked like he ain't living up to it, he's worthy of your praise. Just when you look at what he endured and persevered through. They put heroin in the community. And man, our brothers would hit their arm with that needle and then drop their head. But let me show you how bad they were. They can hit their arm with that needle on that heroin and that syrup, drop their head, run into a telephone pole, bow, jump out the car, running across the street and get hit by a bus, blow, and then still make it to the hospital and live and survive. The Father lift that curse off our people and put it on them, bow. Millions of them dying. One hit in the vein and they dead. One hit in the vein and they dead. We grew up as children, surrounded by our parents and uncles and stuff that was junkies and drug addicts. But they persevered through it. You see? This shows a level of greatness. Look what they done in the 80s when they put crack in the community. It's the same thing. But when the Father lifted those curses and put them on them, they destroyed. That says something great about your Hebrew men. We can't be turned off by our own women while the Chinese woman, the Asian woman, the Latino woman, the Indian woman, the European woman, the Russian woman, just don't believe me? Go and turn on a porn site and watch what you see. That's right. I said it. I said it. Don't get it twisted. I ain't been no superficial, self-righteous individual. You don't believe what I'm saying. You go turn on a porn site and watch what you find. You will find the Asian. You will find the European, the Russian, the African, the Chinese. You will find every last one of those women hooked up with one of your Hebrew men because they understand and recognize his greatness. And you gonna tell me you don't? Let's keep it real. Now, I'm not advocating porn or anything like that, but I'm a man. And I've watched the same things that men watch. And there's a lesson in everything. And I used to say to myself, back in the day, I said to myself, I didn't say it was right. I didn't say it was right. It's a form of lust. I didn't say I identify with that. But I used to say to my wife, you understand what I'm saying? It's a shame. I can't find a black man and a black woman nowhere on this. I don't care how many of you go to. You can't find black women and black men. But they got your black men tied with everything. And they'll take and tie your sisters with something else. You see? That right there should tell you something. They go out of their way to keep us apart, to keep us divided, because they know how great we are. They're going out of the way to get us to pollute and dilute our genetics as it relates to our children, because they know how great we are. When we come together from opposite races, we dilute and digress. We produce regressive genes. But when we connect together, you see, they like, these people are too great. They too great to multiply like this. They say the same thing that Pharaoh said. The children, they multiplying too rapidly. They're too great. They're coming too great and too strong for us. So, that's, we got to pray more. And whatever it is, we got to use those experiences that we've been through. We got to use those experiences as methods to strengthen each other. So if y'all don't do nothing for me today, I don't ask y'all for much, but I'll come on here and I'm going to pour myself out every day. Every day that the Most High give me something, I'm going to pour myself out. When I leave here, I leave with a headache. I leave here soaking wet and sweating, and I constantly have a runny nose because it seems like I always got a cold, and I don't know where it come from, because when I leave out of this house, I'll be sweating, and eventually that stuff going to take its toll on my body. But if I could do that on an everyday basis for y'all, surely you ought to be able to post some comments to lift your brother and your sister up on today. Y'all pray for me while I travel. Hallelujah.